Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm going to jump right in. We've got a limited amount of time, so we would like to first know, who were you in high school?
Who was I in high school? I was a 5'11", 196-pound, poetry-loving, girl-loving, though there were none accessible to me, because I was part of the last all-male graduating class here. Guy who gave his parents gray hair.
Fair enough. What do you most value about your SSA education?
That's an interesting question. And part of that comes from my background. I am the son of a sharecropper. And my father busted his ass, as did my mother who picked cotton, to make sure that I would have a life completely different than the lives they had. So the first thing that I valued about it was the opportunity. I learned how to read well, think well, write well, speak well, so that I could go on to have a life that I currently enjoy. So there were people like Bob Grandizio, Tom Murphy, Ben Sowers, Bill Deal, Chris Hench, who took this hormonally driven 17-year-old and took his mind and shaped the mush that laid the foundation for who I became.
Tell us a little bit about the journey of being a student here, then a faculty member here, and then now an alum, obviously an alum and former faculty member, and then how you used your experience here and why you moved on to the idea of creating DNA.
Let's understand something. Everybody in this room, all of us, when it came to the lottery of the birth canal, all of us got lucky. Let's be really clear. We got lucky because in the birth canal lottery, we got the long end of the stick. You are learning how to, again, read well, think well, write well, so that you can go on to live well. You are not self-authored by any stretch of the imagination. Yes, you bring a store of talent to the table, but there are people who have loved you and guided you and hoped for you so that 15 or 20 years from now, you can look back and say, you know what? I have the life that I wanted. And I think it was that experience, first off, of having that vision laid out for me here that really led to what I'm doing now.
To pick up on that a little bit, and I want to go in two different directions, but I'll just pick one of them. And this touches on, you started to go there, but what in your mind are the primary ingredients of a life well lived?
I talk to my students an awful lot about the notion of vocation, okay? And I did not come up with this definition. Okay? Vocation is where your great joy meets the world's great need. Where your great joy meets the world's great need. So that, for you, which is not work, but gives you pleasure, which brings out the best in you, which enables you and empowers you to go into the world and create good things for other people and for yourself, where that part of your life intersects the world's great need, I think is probably, that's the guiding force in my life. It's not money. As Hindus would say, wealth, fame, and power, who cares? Although it's, you know, we all need enough money to feed ourselves and pay the cable bill. But if you can find what your vocation is, if you can find what is holy to you and eternal to you, and then have that shape how you spend your time and your energy and your talent, you're going to have a great life.
There's a lot more we could talk about. What keeps you up at night?
What keeps me up at night? Personally or professionally?
Let's start professionally.
As a school leader, I have an enormous responsibility. My students and their parents entrust themselves to me to guide them. So on occasion, there will be this kid who was stuck on stupid and refuses to move. There will be a parent whose issues get in the way of their child's development. There will be the fact that I'm not God, so I can't assume responsibility for everything in the world. And what keeps me up is, most of the time, my having to admit that I'm not God and I'm not responsible for everything, and to recognize my own limitations.
Well, I want to get to some time for questions from the audience, so be thinking about what you might want to ask Reverend Johnson, but we'll finish up with a few short answer questions. So, what brings you great joy? What's up, Gary? All right, we're going to keep going. The question is, what brings you great joy?
What brings me great joy? Well, first off, I'm happy you asked the question that way. In my mind, happiness is transitory. You can be happy and then be 5 minutes out of bed, and that happiness is gone for whatever reason. Joy, on the other hand, is that contentment and pleasure that you find on the other side of struggle. So what brings me great joy? Teaching brings me great joy. Baptizing babies brings me great joy. Knowing at the end of the day that I spent the day as I should have spent the day brings me great joy.
Favorite sport to play?
I am 63 years old. I'm at least 40 pounds overweight. My favorite sport to play is pressing the remote control. My favorite sport to watch, basketball and lacrosse.
Athletic hero?
I don't have an athletic hero.
Okay, fair enough.
My only hero is my father.
Favorite album? Favorite album?
Wow. Who's Next by The Who.
Okay. Minios or Aiellos?
Pardon me?
Minios or ILOs?
IALOs.
If you were not serving as a minister or running a school, what would you be doing?
I would probably be writing, or I would be looking for what I should be doing with my life. I'd be looking for my vocation.
What are you watching?
The Man in the High Castle.
What are you reading?
I just picked up James Comey's book and Outliers by Gladwell.
Do you have a favorite podcast, by chance?
Just about any of the TED Talk.
Okay. And last one, a guilty pleasure?
Oh, that's easy. There is nothing in this life that compares to a warm chocolate chip cookie and a glass of milk.
So we have a little bit of time for questions from the audience. Dan's got the catch box. Got a question?
Hi. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more about like how your religious background influenced your decision, or if it didn't, to start the Neighborhood Academy.
So you're asking me the role of my faith in all of this.
Yeah.
I'd say the centerpiece of that is the sense, my belief, that all of us have been given a gift. All of us have been given a special grace that is uniquely ours. And so the challenge of our life is to find out how we live out that special grace and use that gift, and not for the benefit of ourselves, but for other people. Now, once you establish that, it then becomes a function of where and how you live that out. And for me, it began, I served a small church on the north side, and the Neighborhood Academy began in the basement of my first church. We had absolutely no money. I mean, literally, no money. And it then began the journey of just taking one step and then the next step and then the next step. So I think the second aspect of my faith is you're never going to know what the end result is. You're never going to know that. You understand your life looking through the rear view mirror. The trick is one day at a time, one decision at a time, to what in recovery, it's called, you do the next right thing. And if you take care of that, then usually the rest will take care of itself. I hope that makes sense? Okay, normally I've been accused of not making sense, so that's good.
Anybody else? Toss it.
Hi. I was wondering if you just did you have a favorite class, subject in school?
Pardon me?
Did you have like a favorite subject in school? Or what is your favorite thing to teach?
I
math
teach,
or something like that.
Okay, I teach a course called Ethics, Origins of the Law, the Constitution, and Capitalism. That is my favorite course to teach. My favorite course in high school was a poetry course called Kaleidoscope, where we read poets and then we would go to the International Poetry Forum and hear the poets read their work. In college, there was an ethics course and a creative writing course that were my favorite.
Hi. Do you have any particular advice for seniors heading off to college next year?
Do not what is easy. Do what you love. Do what you love, and the rest will take care of itself. Also, be safe. No, I'm very serious about this. You are about to enter into a phase of your life where you have more freedom than you've ever had before in your life. And probably more freedom coupled with less responsibility. So it's really easy to do something dumb. Okay? I would say be careful mixing alcohol and intimate relationships. It's a recipe for disaster. I would say someone, either your parents or a scholarship committee, someone's funding that area of your life for the next 4 years. Don't waste the blessing. So that's what I'd say.
You were talking about vocation, so I was wondering if there was like an instance in your life where you realized what you wanted to do, or was it like developed over like a series of events?
It was a series of events. People have asked me all the time, did you want to be a minister all of your life? And the answer to that was no, absolutely not. I think vocation comes about in two ways. There's all the things that you try that don't work, and then of all the things that you try that do work, you begin to sort through that process, and again, you find your joy. So it's definitely evolutionary.
Unfortunately, we're going to run out of time, so I just want to take a minute. I've had the great benefit this year of hearing about Reverend Tom almost on a daily basis, because my wife, Mrs. Green, some of you know her, has been teaching at the Neighborhood Academy this year, and she will come home and share frequent stories, some more poignant and some more amusing than others. I think my personal favorite was looking out the window to find Reverend Tom literally helping a child do push-ups by holding his belt. I'm not sure what he had done to find himself in front of the school doing push-ups in the rain. I think it was even in the rain, perhaps.
Yeah.
I think we may have a Form Dean opening next year. I don't know. You'd be interested. But at any rate, I think it's a real honor to have you here today, Tom, and to know that you're a part of the broader Shady Side family. I think for us as a community to be able to learn from your experiences, even if just this brief few minutes, has been really, really important. And we wish you well, and we're glad to see you. We'll be glad to see you in a couple weeks at graduation. So you are now dismissed. Thank you.